Episode 1. No Stones Left Unturned. I've been working for over 8 years to close loopholes in the Performing Rights Society rules that major music publishers have been exploiting in order to line their own pockets to the detriment of songwriters. You'd have thought that an organisation that enjoys monopoly status would be keen to ensure that their rules are being properly adhered to. The PRS do not provide their services for free. They charge their members nearly £70 million a year in fees, money forcibly taken from us before we receive our royalties, if we ever receive them at all. I doubt that many PRS members realise that despite the aforementioned monopoly status, the PRS operates an EIS, Executive Incentive Scheme, meaning that we could end up paying the CEO nearly £1 million a year simply to do his job. I wrote to the PRS on numerous occasions to inform them that my rights as a member were being abused and that my royalties were being unlawfully stolen. I wrote to Robert Ashcroft, who's the CEO, Nigel Elderton, who's the chairman, and Deborah Stones, who's the general counsel, providing them all with irrefutable evidence that wrongdoing was taking place and that PRS rules were being circumvented to the detriment of its members. You'd have thought that an organisation responsible for collecting and distributing revenues approaching $1 billion per annum would want to ensure that they were operating in a transparent and equitable manner. But you'd be wrong. I wrote to Ms. Stones on several occasions asking her what the PRS were going to do about the numerous copyright abuses I had endured and the subsequent fiscal losses that I had suffered. This was the response I received from her. We will not answer your questions. Not to be deterred, I asked the PRS to confirm that Warner Chappell Music Publishing and Universal Music Publishing were going to face sanctions for illegally claiming ownership of my intellectual property and unlawfully stealing my money. This is the reply I received from Deborah Stones. We will not answer your questions. Still refusing to be put off, I asked the PRS to confirm that Warner Chappell Music Publishing, who continue to falsely claim ownership of my copyright and collect money to which they have no legal right, had provided any written evidence to justify their actions. This is the reply I received from Deborah Stones. We will not answer your questions. I was starting to get the impression that the PRS didn't want to answer my questions. So I asked them a few more. I asked Deborah Stones to confirm that the PRS were 100% certain that they had not received funds to which they had no legal right, nor had they paid out funds to people who had no right to receive them. Reasonable questions. This is the reply I received from Deborah Stones. We will not answer your questions. Robert Ashcroft is required to immediately inform the PRS board the moment that he becomes aware of erroneous, potentially fraudulent, or concealed detrimental practices. I asked if Mr. Ashcroft had reported my complaints, as he was required to do under statutory laws. This is the reply I received from Deborah Stones. We will not answer your questions. Okay, Deborah, I get the message. You will not answer my questions. So, I have reported Deborah Stones to the Solicitors Regulatory Authority as a direct result of her unacceptable behaviour. She will soon be asked all of these questions again. If she sticks with the same obstructive answers, she might just find herself out of work and facing an uphill struggle to stay out of jail. So, do I care if people suffer detrimental consequences as a result of doing nothing, when even a smidgen of ethical consciousness would have caused them and compelled them to do something? I will not answer that question.